Hey guys, welcome to the We Need to Calm Down podcast. I'm Devin.
And I'm Joe.
And this is the show where we talk about all things Taylor Swift.
That's right. This is a show where two friends finally get to let their dedication to Taylor Swift fly.
We'll be discussing everything from song breakdowns, Taylor news, and our insane fan theories.
And folklore. 100% all folklore all the time. We are now solely a folklore channel.
Folklore, too furious.
Oh, gee. Devin, how have you been in this beautiful folklore era?
I'm good. We've been laughing over here. Joe and I were talking a bit before we started recording, and we just started crying. It's a process to start each episode, but I'm doing good.
Good, because we have a lot of depressing things to go over for the rest of this album, so we at least are starting on a high point.
It's like the beginning of the episode, we're just two buds just crying of laughter. At the end of the episode, it's just
we're just crying.
I'm gonna go. All right.
I'm really excited to re-record the songs we cried to episode based on all of the songs that we have now cried to from Folklore.
I'm trying to think of I don't think I've actually cried to any yet, but I also haven't been in that bad of a mood despite living through a pandemic and climate. Everything going on in the world right now, our climate.
I think I might have teared up, but I'm in the same boat of I don't think I've been in the right mood to, but I can tell you right now, if I get into that mood, I will cry to a majority of these songs.
Well, you know what it is? We're both single right now. It's a pandemic, so no one's dating. But as soon as
someone break up with me,
as soon as
how dare you?
And we date people, break up with people, we're gonna come back to this album and then just
we're gonna do an episode where we're crying the entire time. We need to. So that's one of the things we have to do, and it sucks, but we have to coordinate this where we both get in a relationship around the same time, and then we break up with the significant other at the same time. So we have an episode. We're gonna do this for content.
Just in our pajamas, just sobbing, welcome to the We Need to Calm Down podcast.
And you'll be like, I actually loved him, and I'll be like, but you needed to do this for the show.
Why did we have to break up for content?
Anyway, what are we talking about today?
So we are going to be going over our favorite lyrics or lyrics that stood out to us the most from the entire album. Lots of content today.
That's right. We usually do a deep dive on lyrics in our song breakdowns, but we kind of wanted to dedicate an episode to the really big ones that stuck out at least first, and then maybe downplay them a little bit in the song breakdown. But we're going to be talking about lyrics. This is such a lyrically dense album. We're going to be talking about them for the next 5 months probably.
Exactly. And we both, we're going through and we're writing down our favorites, and I'm we need to limit this to about maybe 3 per song each, just because I know right off the bat, one of the songs, I was the entire song. That's send tweet.
It's so funny because this is her return to form of just incredibly dense lyric writing, and so many of these are so good. And we looked at it. We've been talking about how we want to tackle recording episodes about this, and we'll go into that more. You'll hear about where we ended up falling on a lot of this stuff, but we're gonna try to peel back the layers to as many of the lyrics as possible. But we thought we'd start on something pretty simple. Just what are our favorites? Give a little bit about them, why we like them. Yeah. And
we're recording this on a Saturday. It's just a week and a day after Folklore's release. So these are these are the lyrics that gut punched us real quick.
Yeah, we'll probably it's weird. We've been doing song rankings every week. Every Wednesday on our Instagram, we post the latest rankings of where we like the songs. And I'm sure the same thing is going to be where songs are constantly changing. Our favorite lyrics are constantly changing. So this album's always ever evolving.
It really is. Just one day skyrocketing, falling.
We're texting each other every day this song's on the rise for me. We're stockbrokers or something. I really think Peace is going to break through the top 3 soon. Keep an eye out.
Oh my gosh. Exactly
Sell. One thing I do want to say that I noted, I'm not sure if you feel the same way, but I'm probably.
Yeah.
Before we get into like the actual lyrics, a lot of the lyrics, it's hard because it's not just the words, it's the way that she says them. She has such an amazing cadence and like delivery for these lyrics. So some that I specifically picked out weren't necessarily for the words that she sang, but just how she sang them and how it sounded. Honestly, some of them are like the words are blah, but the way it sounded's great. Some of them, the words are great, but the way she delivers them aren't. And then some are just bomb all the way around. I don't know. Did you feel that way too? Where like you?
Yeah, 1000% can back you up on that because there's a lot of just really good, just the way she sings it melodically versus, just her pacing, her cadence of the songs. I completely agree. I think I have a couple of those which fall on both sides, and the few that are both are wonderful.
Oh my gosh!
Well, do you want to start us off?
Yeah. I mean, this episode probably have the explicit tag again, but the one obviously first episode or first song, I'm doing good. I'm on some new shit. We spoke about this a little bit in our initial reactions, but so I don't want to like repeat too much. But like I said, I really love this song. This is an intro. Like, it's the perfect opening line. I don't think a better opener could start this album. But I will say this line is a bit of a lie, it feels, after listening to the rest of the album. Taylor is in fact on some new shit. But if the rest of the album is any indication, Bey is not doing good.
It's like, sis, you good? You okay?
Like, we end this album on like threats of suicide. So it doesn't really sound like you're doing great.
Yeah, but she's not gonna be like, I'm doing awful, I'm on some new shit. Like, no.
Could you imagine?
I'm going through an episode of new shit. It's like, okay.
Send help.
Because if that was like the starter, you'd be like, ooh.
Like, we're in for it. We're in for it now.
She wanted to like ease us in with the promise of maybe. And then it's just, nope.
Nope, well, it's also interesting too, because like the last album was all good stuff. Like it was there was a couple of sad songs, one actual genuine breakup song, but everything else is very lovey-dovey, and this album is the night and day of that. But this, yeah, it's an interesting like misleading intro, but it's still good. And the new shit refers to like this new sound and new style that she's going for, which she absolutely just nails. But yeah, did you this is a contentious one because I know you're not a big fan of this song.
It's grown on me. It's not like the bottom, but there are still songs that are above it. Well, there's a lot of songs that are above it, but there's more songs that are under it than before.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'm excited for this week's power rankings. The next line that I really liked, there was a lot in this song just based on like the way that she delivers it. But I really like the line, if you never bleed, you're never gonna grow. Honestly, like I feel like I hear a lot of lines like this in a lot of the music that I listen to. I definitely cling to lines with this exact same like mantra through a lot of the breakups that I've been through. I can think like the last line that was almost parallel entirely to this is a song called Legendary by the Somerset. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
The Somerset I've definitely heard of.
I loved their pop punk them like way back in like late college. But they have a song called Legendary, which is basically the How I Met Your Mother song, which is great. But they say, if you never scrape your knees, how you ever gonna learn? And it's basically the exact same thing of like, it's very comforting in a relationship when you end it to go, well, like if you never mess up, you're not gonna grow. So like you get to look at it positively. And I love stuff like that. Like I cling to it.
Yeah, exactly. I think Taylor mentions it before in other songs, like, all these heartbreaks led me to you or something like that. Some similar, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but
that's unlike you.
I know, I'm just a lyric powerhouse up here, but Well, speaking of lyrics, the next one that I really like off the song is, I'm not going to try to do the vocals because it's very high. I could probably hit it, but like I'm not going to show Joe off right now. But it's the cadence of it. It's, I persist and resist the temptation to ask you if one thing had been different and XYZ. But just that whole cadence of it, it's like persist and resist the temptation to ask you if one thing. It's just, it flows so well, and the pacing is just like a beautiful little hop to it.
I do like this song is like a lesson in pacing and like and delivery. Like she just does such a great job going through and doing that. The line that I picked next kind of it only for the cadence is just rose flowing with your chosen family. You get like it feels like Shakespearean, like what's that iambic pentameter? You don't know what iambic pentameter is?
You're speaking gibberish right now. You don't know it.
You don't know. I get to sound like a giant nerd instead of you for once. Ooh.
Joe, I never sound like a nerd. With music, maybe, but
yeah, that's where it is.
Academic nerd is all for you.
Iambic pentameter is like how Shakespeare wrote a lot of his plays, which is like God, I'm gonna be crucified if I'm wrong about this, but like a soft then hard, and like when you go through it, you like do a little U and then a slash for hard, and iambic pentameter is 5, so it's like a soft sound, hard sound, soft hard, all the way through 5 times. But like when you read Shakespeare, you get a cadence because of the way that he wrote it in iambic pentameter. And I don't know if this is, I didn't check to see if this was iambic pentameter, but just the flow itself gives me the feeling of it.
Gotcha.
Of like a Shakespeare kind of thing.
Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that. Thank you for that. I mean, besides even the cadence, just the imagery that, rose flowing with your chosen family, it just invokes just like, you're having fun with your friends that you chose to be your family. And it's just like good times all around. But I think the last line for me off of the one was just in the chorus, in my defense, I have none.
It's a good one.
It's just really like lyrically, just the words behind it. In my defense, I have none.
I like it's like a little bit of a switcheroo where you're like, she's gonna defend herself. Nope.
Yeah.
I got nothing. I really like it.
Yeah. So that is the one. We are going to track 2 now, Cardigan.
Yeah, this song has been on repeat for me so much. I did not like it when I first started listening to it, but it has grown substantially over time. My first one that line that I picked out was, "But I knew you playing hide and seek and giving me your weekends." I am gonna die on the hill that this is a lyric from the 14-minute All Too Well. It has the stink of that song all over it. It just when we go through the line by line of this song, I'm gonna try to see how many parallels to All Too Well in the lyric writing I can draw, because it's weird. Like this song isn't obviously it's not like a carbon copy of All Too Well, but it just feels like there are just like fingerprints of All Too Well all over this song.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on this at first, and then Joe told me this, and I just was like, whoa. That is very true.
It matches like what she's going for in All Too Well so much. I would not be shocked, because I know she put out like I Googled it immediately. She put out in the deluxe editions of Lover some of the extra and original lines to it, and none of it was this. But I mean, how many verses are in a 14-minute song? And that none of it was musicals. That was all lyrics is what gave it the length.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised at all.
Definitely. I think that. The next line that I picked was, I'll just do these 2 back to back. So marked me like a bloodstain. That's just very deep and personal. It just marked you like a bloodstain. Like that just hits you different. And then the second one is leaving like a father, running like water. Another just stab to your heart.
Oh, yo, that line, it's so tough, man. Like, and it's said so casually. Like, it doesn't matter. Leaving like a father. Yeah. No, it's not like it's special that it happens. That's just a thing that happens. Fathers leave so casually that that yeah, it's not even worth lingering on.
Mm-hmm. That's something
I'm
I've
just
noticed.
gonna. So go ahead.
That's something I noticed with this album. I feel like there's a lot of lyrics that just emotionally gut punch you, but they're sung in such a way that unless you're really listening to the lyrics, you wouldn't know. You're just kind of like going along with it, and you're like, oh wait, hold on. She just said that, fathers leave. Like that's a normal thing.
And just like it's out of nowhere too. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like this song has anything to do with like that kind of loss of love or anything. It's just like, yeah, casually, let's drop this line in here, and then immediately go to Running Like Water, which is nowhere near as impactful, but like just shows like you're putting these two things next to each other as if they're the same. You're putting this very mundane Running Like Water next to Leaving Like a Father.
And when you put them together, it
Fathers
just
leave
makes
your
it that more impactful.
fathers leave your life as easily as water runs. Oof.
Okay. It's really that last verse, and then when it goes into, the little bridge thing at the end, kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew you, and she explains all the things she knew. But I knew you'd linger like a tattooed kiss. I just love her delivery. She kind of like gets a little bit more emotional with it. I knew you'd linger like a tattooed kiss. And then she just keeps going on, and then your next line.
Ranting almost.
A ranting
Um,
bridge at the end of a
a
song.
ranting bridge. Oh, look, a wild ranting bridge appeared. I love, just to harp on your thing a little bit. I do love the visual of a tattoo kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Like it reminds me of like when like someone famous like touches someone and they're like, I'm never washing this hand again. But like,
Mm-hmm.
or someone kisses you and you're just like, you feel it and you always feel it. Um, but the next line, oh my gosh, my cat has heard me scream this line 1,000 times. Whatever I'm doing, I will, as soon as this starts building up, I will literally drop everything. I've dropped to my knees a couple of times
Oh
and
God.
screamed because I knew everything when I was young. Ah, the emotion.
It really
I
just hit.
It's so good. It's so good. I have to mentally prepare myself for it every time.
Mm-hmm.
Every time. There's not a single time this lyric has passed my without me singing it. It's so
So
good.
that is Cardigan. We are on to track 3, The Last Great American Dynasty. Uh, really, the only line, this song honestly has kind of been tanking for me, but we'll get to that later. But the
Mhm.
only really line that really stood out to me, if I say really one more time, is the wedding was charming if a little gauche. And I've never heard the word gauche before, maybe like once in my life. So when I was reading the lyrics, I'm like, it looks like gauche or gash or whatever, but it's pronounced gauche. So I love that. It just, the wedding was charming if a little gauche, like, little sass to it.
I love that word. I've only ever heard it spoken.
I've never
I've
seen
never
it
heard
spelled.
it, never seen it spelled. Yeah, but like every time it's always been the word is gauche always has a bit of disdain to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just, gauche, like just like very rich
Mm-hmm.
sounding, um, which I mean fits for the word. Um, I love hearing it. It actually reminds me of like the scene in Speak Now, where with the wedding there, where she's like with a gown shaped like a pastry, like
Yeah.
this extravagant wedding kind of thing. Gauche.
All right. What about your line?
My you were right. This I don't know what it was. I like all of these lines as a song, but like nothing stuck out.
Mm-hmm.
But I did enjoy. I had a marvelous time ruining everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if you take that out of the context of what the song is, like you can apply that to so many things. If you can apply that to the end of a relationship, like just like you know what, like screw it, going down with the ship. Let's just make it a fun time.
It's just
Um,
it's mischievous. It's that's kind of air to
mhm.
it. Mm-hmm.
I love the implications of it.
Yeah.
But there's other than that, there's not much in the last Great American Dynasty.
Mm-hmm. Which moves us along to track 4, Exile. So this song, I have a couple. Um, You're not my homeland anymore, so what am I defending? When I first heard that, I was like, ooh,
Hmm.
that's true because I mean, in the context of relationships, you kind of like defend another person or um Like just like all these little things, and it's like you still feel defensive over that person and still feel like you have to take care of them, and it's like, but they're not yours anymore, they're not your home.
Mm-hmm.
Like what are you doing?
And you, it's not even that like just defending them to other people, like you defend them to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, like if they say or do something that's like wrong but it hurts you, you kind of, well, okay, why? And like you try to reason it, but like when you break up, you're like, I don't have to reason for them anymore. I
Yep.
don't need to try to think why they did that. Like, yeah, no, that one does hit a little bit, and I do like the wording that she uses too,
Mm-hmm.
and the questioning of it. What am I defending? Like,
Yeah.
what? Not like I'm not defending you anymore. Just like, what am I defending?
Mm-hmm.
You ain't nothing.
Okay. The next line I have is Taylor singing later, like you'd get your knuckles bloody for me. It's just this, raw physical, like you would do all these things to defend me beforehand. Like, you would fight someone for me. Yeah. And then the next line that we both talked about is when Bon Iver just goes, "So step right out.
That was beautiful,
There is
Devin.
no
That
one
was
about."
beautiful. I didn't know he was Louis Armstrong.
Okay. But yeah, so just that line itself, you just gotta scream it. You're like, so step right out.
It literally, like, it cuts through everything. Like, it's one of those things of, like, if you could be cooking dinner, listening to this record or something like that, and, like, as soon as you hear, so step right out, like, it just cuts through whatever you're doing and you listen to it. It's very commanding.
It's when you're stirring your pasta and so step right out. And
You just, like, meerkat it.
Exactly. You're like, oh, where am I?
But I love, like, how it keeps going. Like, there is no amount of crying I can do for you. Like, I've literally done everything. There's nothing left here. What a feeling. It reminds me of, it kind of reminds me of I Forgot That You Existed, but, like, much more powerful and less positive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like you
hopeless.
want to care. Yeah. That's a good way to describe it. Hopeless. Back to hopeless. Let's go to the next one.
All right, a song that has skyrocketed for me. My Tears Ricochet, track 5. So the first line that Joe and I really gravitated towards when we did our first initial listen through of the album is, "If I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake?"
Ooh.
And it's just, we've talked about it, so I don't want to go into it too much, but just if I don't mean anything to you, why are you defending me? Why are you, at this, wake that is all about me? And later, I have a whole theory about this song, and when we do our breakdown of it, I'm gonna pop off because I think there's a lot of hidden meaning in this song. But one of the lines that really sticks out to me too is, "Because when I'd fight, you used to tell me I was brave," and it just kind of shows the parallel of, like, when we were together, you used to tell me I was brave, and now it's like, what about now?
I didn't even think of that. That's good. Like, oh my gosh, like, you think about that all the time, where, like, when you're in a relationship, you have those rose-colored glasses of what they do. If they tap a pen when they're nervous, oh, that's so cute. And then 4 months into that relationship, when you're fighting and it's not the puppy dog eyes and they tap their pen, you're like, this is the most annoying behavior in the world.
On a much more deeper level, but yes. And then and then the bridge of this song, and "I can go anywhere I want, just not home." It just hits you. It's just so.
You have been screaming this to me for so long. Just not home.
"You would still miss me in your bones." It's just, you just have to, like, scream this and, like, punch something, like punch yourself, punch the air. It's just hits you. Jeez.
And then you hit something else. I didn't know it was that, like, ingrained in you for that line.
I've been saying it to Joe via text, and he just saw me physically just punch myself in the chest 3 times. Like you're going to war. But yeah, but otherwise, delivery-wise, that's what it does to me. But just lyrically, like, I can go anywhere I want, just not home. And it's like, home is where you want to be.
Yeah.
And, like, missing something in your bones to the deepest core of you, of what makes you up, is your bones. Crazy.
I don't have much from this song. I think because you definitely gravitate more towards it than I do.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that like stuck out to me from the get go, aside from if I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake? But and if I'm on fire, you'll be made of ashes too.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it's such a weird threat. Like if you kill me, I'm not going alone.
Mm-hmm.
But like said in such a beautiful, like a hauntingly beautiful way. And she actually references a lot of stuff like this throughout the record too, which I think accentuates it for me. But
Mm-hmm.
outside of that, not much else in this song for
I'm
me.
like,
But we'll,
I'm trying to think of it. Like, if I'm on fire, you'll be made of ashes too. The way I interpret that is if someone is on fire, you know, they have ashes after the fire ends. It's you'll be made of ashes too. Like, my destruction is what makes you up. That's what I get.
my my immediate thought is if I catch on fire, I'm running over and giving you a hug. Like, I don't know why, but that was my immediate like visual. But it's like, yeah, if I die, I'm taking you with me.
Mm,
Like you, and especially like in a sense of like, if you're trying to kill me, you won't get away unscathed.
that's what I get. That's my image. All right. Track 6, we
Now
got
back to your other song.
Mirror Ball, my song that is still my song. Just the hush when no one is around, my dear. It's just so good.
I don't know why. I don't really like that line.
Really?
No, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't like the hush, I think, which is weird. Like, it's just not.
I think sonically it just sounds really good. It's just a hush. Just
I'm.
it's like enlightened and
I feel like I'm wrong. Like, I know that my opinion on this is probably wrong.
mm-hmm.
But it just for something, it doesn't really do much for me.
The actual line hush when no one is around, my dear, I haven't like sat down and really thought about like the meaning behind it yet. I've thought about the rest of the song, but you know, hush, be quiet when no one's around. Like, what does that mean? I'll
Oh,
think
that's
about
a good
that.
point.
I'll think about that during the song breakdown, but I don't have to think about it
That's
yet.
a thing.
But everything
That's a
else
thing.
about it. Mm-hmm.
Wow, I can't believe that just ruined everything. You pointed that out to me.
You don't want to
That
say
makes no sense.
your note?
Today I discovered a video where someone edited John Mulaney saying "hush"
Over that
every
one
time
part.
she says "hush," and it was so funny too because when I first found the video, I was like, "Oh, it's just John Mulaney saying hush, hush, hush" for over every like word. So
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to the beginning. I'm like, "This just sounds like Mirrorball. Why does this matter?" And then I got to the first one, and I almost died. It was so good.
All right, and then the rest of the song continues. I can change everything about me to fit in. Like that's just
Mm.
like this is just a song for people with anxiety, and it's like I'll change anything about me to fit in. I'll anything. I mean, you say your line later, but I'm still trying everything to keep you laughing at me, to keep you looking at me. It's like, hey, I'm here. Like I can do whatever.
Wacky inflatable arm failing too, man. Come on.
And then the bridge of the song I really like, you know, and they called up the circus, bring the
Bring
disco
the disco
down.
down.
It's just
The,
the inflection at the end going down when they say down just is a little treat for me.
this is my favorite part of the song.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll zone out for the first half, but as soon as I get to and they called off the circ, I just immediately tune back in. I'm like, all right, here we are. This is where I'm supposed to be. It just I don't know what it is. Like exactly like you said, the inflection, just like it just really draws you in,
Yeah.
and I love it. But shocking, my only line from this album comes on the bridge. I just noticed you added a note to my note about it too. But this one really, really hit home for me. Was I'm still trying everything to get you laughing at me. As someone who's gone through breakups and been broken up with and things like that, as you know, if you've listened to all of our episodes, probably know a little too much. But I always feel like this need to break tension whenever like I'm fighting with a significant other or like there's some weird like some kind of tension in the relationship. Just based on who I am as a personality, I don't like silence. I always feel the need to fill it, and I don't like when people are mad at me. And I'm generally the kind of person who doesn't get mad very often, so I'm always the one that tries to fix everything like that. So whenever I fought, I would always crack a joke. And like part of me thinks like it's kind of a test of like, is this relationship still here? Like if you laugh, we have a shot. We'll make it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't laugh, does that mean that like you're done? Like nothing I can do will bring this back? And it's the scariest feeling when they don't laugh, especially if it's a good joke. Um,
See,
like
that just came from my entire existence because I wasn't thinking that when I first heard the lyric, like, and then
I
jokes.
can't believe you didn't.
Well, I'm still trying everything to get you laughing at me. Like, I wasn't thinking about it in that context. I just knew, okay, it's about anxiety and stuff. And I'm trying to get you laughing at me, trying to get you here with me. And then you explained it. And I was just instantly transported to my last relationship where we were in this really uncomfortable situation and he was being really quiet. And I hate the quiet. And I always try to I was trying to fill it and I was trying to crack jokes and all this stuff. And he was just dead silent, not laughing at anything, just so uncomfortable. And he told me like later it made him feel uncomfortable. And I'm just like, and you just brought all of that back to me right now. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like
Yay.
that was the beginning of the end. So thank you for that.
No, I mean, but it's such. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm glad that we share that. Like, we both feel that way about things like that. Like,
we run a podcast. There can't be dead air.
That's good. But no, like, yeah, it's such an interesting way to like you want this to keep going, and you just come on. Like, what can I do? What can I do to like make you remember that you love me and not hate me like you might right now? Yeah, no, that was my immediate thought when I heard that line, and I absolutely went crazy over it. And that line and that bridge make that song for me.
Mirrorball is a song for people with crippling anxiety. Okay, let's go to the
No
next.
wonder the friends that I have love it.
All right, now we're on to track 7, which is 7. The first line that stood out to me is are there still beautiful things? And I think we talked about that before too, but it's just so simple. It's just, are there still beautiful things? Is everything
I
still
want
more?
this. I want this on a Christmas ornament. I don't know why. This is one of those lines that like the delivery, there's nothing special about it. There's no cadence. There's no nothing. Like this, I like it better reading it than I do hearing it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But it's just, there's so much you could unpack in that line.
Mhm. And then we get into the bridge, and Bridge City just oof, oof, oof. So it's, I've been meaning to tell you, I think your house is haunted. Your dad is always mad, and that must be why. Just like, the story is told from the perspective of a child. So she's like, oh, I've been meaning to tell you, I think your house is haunted. Like your dad's always mad. That has to be why. And then the next line, or I didn't quote it, but it's just a child hiding and crying, and it's like, it's because your house is haunted. Like I as a 7-year-old cannot equate why your dad is so mad, so it must be this, and but just also this whole sentiment of the song, I think I really love it. I love the song a lot. It's gone back up for me, but the line, and though I can't recall your face, I still got love for you, and that just makes me think
That's a
of
beautiful line.
the friends that I've had when I was younger, where I'm not friends with them today. I don't remember their name. I don't remember their face, but I still have love for them because of these things that we went through and experienced. And I still feel like I care for you. Like when I look back on the situation.
I think I have that. I don't think I have that at all.
Like I
That's
know
depressing.
Like I remember when I was younger, like going to visit like my dad and, meeting this girl in passing, and we had hung out like one time, and it's like, I can't recall your face. I don't remember your name, but I still have love for you. It's like, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, but
I
that's
didn't get
7
that
for
out of
me.
that line.
Mm.
I didn't have much. 7 is not my favorite.
Sweet tea in the summer. I don't want
that part's my favorite.
I love that, yeah. But anyways, now we are on to track 8, which is August. That I love the song, but we talked
Really
about
good.
it before when we talked about it, just the cadence of, but I can see is lost in the memory. That's like the only thing that kind of reminds me of Jack Antonoff, the slight scoops. It's not like, it doesn't have the Jack Antonoff tone to it where it's like, da-na-na-na, da-na, like, but it's still the scoop up. And then we'll talk about this one together because we both just scream it. But it's
Gosh.
back when we were still changing for the better. Wanting was enough for me.
That's another one my cat has heard a lot of.
It's just so good.
I actually quoted Taylor Swift in my notes for this song, but I lose my mind every damn time.
It's so good. Just the impact, the delivery, I feel like I sounded like John Mulaney when the impact, the delivery, just the lyrics back when we were still changing for the better, when we were still like trying to be good and be better.
This song has such a great, this whole album has a great feel for it, but like just yearning, and remembrance, and like, I didn't include this on my lines, but like, oh my gosh, I forget what the lyric is. I wish I did include it. It was like, for the hope of it all.
Oh, that's at the end of the song.
Yeah, it's not like that line doesn't resonate, but like, I feel like if you wanted to sum up this album in one line, it would probably be for the hope of it all. Like, you're just hoping, but it never works out. It never works out, but you're just hoping that it does. I think I said that with another line that I have is like, the last two lines I have are just hope lines. They're just canceled plans in case you've called. I hope you call. And you know what? I'm willing to detriment myself and ruin plans that I had. And instead of doing something fun that I could have done, risk doing nothing all day just on the off chance that you want to do something.
That's so impactful.
I've done that. I've done that plenty of times. And it's burned me every time. And then So Much for Summer Love and Saying Us. The hope. This song is just so heartbreaking.
And then the next line is my last line, because you weren't mine to lose. It's just because you weren't mine. It's like all this hope, but you weren't mine.
It's nice that like that does tie it in a nice bow that like isn't as sad because you weren't mine to lose. Like, she realizes like, it's not that I've lost anything. I technically haven't lost anything because you weren't ever going to be the person like that for me.
Yep.
But just the hope that you would have been. Ugh.
All right.
We're at
that's
8.
August. We are on track 9. This Is Me Trying, the Bleacher song. So I actually have grown to like this song a little bit more too. But the first line that I really like it's 2 lines back to back, but they told me all of my cages were mental, so I got wasted like all my potential. Just the lyricism in those 2 lines. Mental cages, wasted potential.
Very Fall Out Boy. I've said that before.
Yeah. And then the one line, I don't know why I like it so much, but I was so ahead of the curve became a sphere. It's just the delivery of it sounds like a Bleacher song, so that's probably why I like it. But even like the lyrics, like I was so ahead of the curve became a sphere. It's like you're just a round ball. You're so ahead of it.
I hated this line when I first heard it. I thought it was very cheesy and very dumb. But the more I think about it, the more it does grow on me. I love the idea of like, it reminds me of like how I was in at least middle school, high school, where like I was so ahead of the curve that I ended up being behind everyone. Like you end up like in the back of everything and you're no longer in front of everyone. Now you're behind everyone and you're trying to race to catch up.
Yep.
I do like that. I hate that I hated it.
I remember at first you didn't like it, and I was like, I like it for some reason. It just sounds good. And then you're a flashback on a film reel on the one screen in my town. Again, the cadence, just so good.
I never thought about this line until you pointed it out, but it does remind me of Last Kiss. Like the I'll watch your life in pictures like I used to watch you sleep. Like you've just turned into this flashback. That's all you are now. You're just pictures. You're not a person. You're an idea anymore.
Rip.
The one that does hit me. This song isn't one of my tops, but the line that I really enjoy is just, it's hard to be anywhere these days when all I want is you. Like, is there anything happy in this album? Like, oh my gosh. Like who hasn't been in like a thing of like, I literally like all I want to be with is you, and I can't do it. So I'm just gonna sit on my bed and pout. Sweatpants, ice cream, Chandler. That's all I'm gonna do.
It's hard to be anywhere. It's like, you know, it's just the flashbacks. It's, you know, you go everywhere and you see this person in everything you do. That's hard. All right. So now we are
I'm
on to,
interested in the ones for these. I'm interested for illicit affairs. What you
yes.
picked some interesting ones.
I don't know. It's a very lyrical song. It's not the most
Mm-hmm.
lyrical song, but I think it does have some weird lines where, you know, tell your friends you're out for a run, you'll be flushed when you return. And it's like, oh, okay. Little sexual innuendo. Okay. And then I don't know why I like it so much, but just the actual words that she chose for this.
Mm-hmm.
A dwindling mercurial high. It's dwindling mercurial. It's a 3 syllable to 4 syllable. It's just it's such a weird flow, and I don't know why I like it so much, but just a dwindling mercurial high. Then she does the same
Okay.
thing. When she said down before, she went down, and now she says high and she goes higher. I like that. It just
Do you know what mercurial means?
no.
I didn't either. I just looked it up because to me I was like, huh, of or relating to Mercury. Interesting. Clearly not what it
Mhm.
means at all.
Okay.
It means subject to sudden or unpredictable changes in mood or mind, which
Okay.
that kind of works.
It does.
Obviously, it works. She would put a song about an element on the periodic table of elements in here, but I never actually knew that before. One of the memes I saw about this record was in the starter pack for this album is you need a dictionary.
I was, how smart is this woman that she just has all these
Mhm.
words in her back pocket that I guess
And
she
where were they? Like, this feels like there's an abnormally high number of them on here.
Folklore sounds like a poetry book that she just made into an album. Just like
100%.
just verse after verse. Um I liked, so I didn't actually pick out lyrics because I thought Joe was gonna pick the other ones and we would just go through it together. So I said, pick any lyric. I'll pick whatever you don't
Pick
pick.
any lyric
Post
from the
all of
bridge.
them.
Literally, I can't. Like, you can't ask me to do that. Like, every song, every lyric on the bridge is amazing. Like, this song, I'll be honest, has slipped down a lot in my power rankings.
Hmm.
The only reason it's staying so high is because of the bridge. Like, I posted a video of Halsey singing it, and I feel the exact same way.
Yep.
Like, you get to this bridge, like, how are you going to pick Don't Call Me Kid, Don't Call Me Baby? All right, that might be the weakest, but it's still pretty great. But
Hmm.
she starts it off with, and you want to scream. So clearly, you're going to be screaming this bridge. Don't Call Me Kid, Don't Call Me Baby. Look at this godforsaken mess that you've made me.
Or idiotic
I'm sorry.
fool.
Like, they're both so good. Idiotic fool that you've made me. And you showed me colors you know I can't see with anyone else.
Or you
You
taught
taught
me
me a secret language I can't speak with anyone else.
just all of
How
this
am I
is
going to
so good.
choose?
Hmm.
How can I choose?
You can.
They're so good. Like, this song or this album, and I'm going to keep trying to relay it to All Too Well because this album is the All Too Well of her albums. But it just reminds me of that bridge from All Too Well where it's like, in my plaid shirt days and nights when you made me your own. Like, you gave me all of this information about you,
Hmm.
and it's useless without you. And now you're leaving, like, and you're, instead of calling me like these nice words, don't call me kid, don't call me baby, you did this.
Yeah.
You screwed this up. And there's so much more I want to break down in this song because I think there is a lot to it. But the last line was the last. I'm sorry. Do you want to say something before I go
No,
on
you're
the last
good.
line? No, like the last line just really gets me because like she does like a change, like she does a lot through these songs and I love them the most, but she ends it with, you know damn well for you I would ruin myself a million little times. And like it just, it's the perfect cap on that bridge of just like, how dare you do all of this stuff to me after what you've done? Like, how dare you do this bad stuff after you've done all this good stuff? And you know that I would never have done this good stuff for you, and I would have let myself deteriorate for you. And you, yeah.
And just the delivery of it too. That's another one that I kind of chest kind. It's like, and you know damn well. It's just, oh, okay. All right, next song. We have Invisible String. So I couldn't pick just one, but all of the time phrases, the time, curious time, mystical time, wondrous time. It's just
I
such
was
a
gonna say,
nice
what is your favorite
line.
one? What's your favorite one?
Time.
You have to pick one.
I like
Putting you on the spot.
curious time.
Really? That's my least favorite one.
Really?
Yeah.
I would say maybe mystical. But I just think it's like, curious time. Like it's just, I don't know, maybe mystical. I might like mystical more.
I think mine's wondrous, actually, interestingly enough. I don't know why. I love the word wondrous. And it gives me like mystical. Curious is my least favorite. Mystical and wondrous are my two favorites, but I think I lean on the wondrous camp.
And then the next line, during the bridge, a string that pulled me out of all the wrong arms right into that dive bar. It's just a string that pulled me out of all the wrong arms right into that dive bar. It sounds
I
really
love the
good.
dip down too on that.
Exactly. I love that. Hell was the journey, but it brought me heaven. It's just such a nice little wrap up of the song. Like, that's it right there.
It reminds me of Darling, I'm a Nightmare Dressed Like a Daydream. I don't know why, but like that line really, I get that vibes. It feels like a very adult version of it. I'm shocked you didn't pick this line.
I was gonna pick the line that comes after this, but yes.
I thought you were. I knew like it was this couplet with something, but I chose the line "Cold as the steel of my axe to grind for the boys who broke my heart." Cadence, delivery. Like I remember when we were live reacting to this, I was foolishly looking at the lyrics ahead of hearing it, and when I read this line, I was like, this seems so weird. I was like, how are you going to make this work? How are you going to make this sound good? Like, I can't even, like, I'm fumbling through it as I'm reading it. And she just nails it. It shouldn't work on paper, but oh my gosh, it does.
The cadence, it's just.
She's showing off.
Yeah, she really is. And then just the, now I send babies presents or whatever. It's just so good. So good.
I'm gonna look into see how much, if any, iambic pentameter or like that kind of stuff is used on here, because I'm gonna be really interested to see if that's how she gets it. Get off your high horse! Get out of here! Give me the blues and then purple pink skies. Cadence again.
All right.
It's just so entertaining to listen to. Mad Woman.
Now I breathe flames every time each time I talk. Just ooh. Like, you're so mad, you're just breathing flames. And then we talked about it before, so I won't get too much into it. It's obvious that Wanting Me Dead has really brought you two together. Also just an impactful line. And then the one that really gets me too is, I'm taking my time, because you took everything from me. It just, the parallels between I'm taking my time because you took everything.
I liked she should be mad, she'd be scathing like me. I just love the way she said scathing. There's a lot. I've been writing a little bit to a bunch of my friends about this song because a lot of my my female friends are like giving me a lot of love for this song.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun to evaluate and really peel back the layers of it. The next one I have absolutely zero lines from.
You meanie. It's Epiphany, of course. Joe has nothing for Epiphany, where I wanted to put the entire song, but just
nothing. No lines, no love, nothing.
The simplicity of the song is what makes the song. Just the lyrics are just so simple but so impactful. Just a flesh wound. Here's your rifle. Like, brush over it. It's just a flesh wound. Just a flesh wound. Here's your rifle. Go back into war. And then some things you just can't speak about. Like, and I love that she says it because like the whole song is a parallel between war and then like obviously like coronavirus and what's happening right now. And I like how it's like just some things you can't speak about. You have to sing it. Like, it's just, you can't, it's untouchable. And then the whole chorus with, just one single glimpse of relief to make some sense of what you've seen. It's just, it reads like a hymn. Like, it sounds just like this
100%.
Church hymn of just simplicity, simple, melody. It's just so good. So good. But yeah. Now we're on to Betty.
You gotta stop with that, man.
I will never.
Swear to God. I mentioned it once in a text and she had to record herself saying that and send it to me. I didn't even open it. I just said, if this is you saying, Betty, I'm gonna kill you. Somehow she's still alive.
Yeah. So, would you have me? Would you want me? And then later, would you love me? I think it's just such, it kind of draws parallels to Lover, where it's the
Mm-hmm.
lines, oh my God, how does Lover? Can I go where
Can
you
I go where
go?
you go?
Yeah. And it's just, would you have me? Would you want me? Would you love me? It's just so simple, simple questions that really impact you. And then she said, James, get in, let's drive. Those days turned into nights. Just the way that she delivers that. James, oh God, how does it go?
She said, James, get
James, get
in,
in.
let's drive.
Yeah,
Those days turned into nights.
just
That's right.
the
This is the best song on
choppiness
the
of
album.
it,
I listen to it so much.
the choppiness of it, and
I'm
then
actually, I didn't read what you put in. I'm glad you put this line and the next line in. Like, these were two that I was going
mhm,
to put in, but it ran out of space for.
exactly, and then would you kiss me on the porch in front of all your stupid friends? It's just like it's so
Stupid
childish and like.
friends.
Would you kiss me in front of everybody because you've probably been telling them all these bad things about me and now they don't like me, but would you, defy them and, take me back?
I do like that a lot. It's something about all your stupid friends. Like, it feels to me, it's like, you didn't learn anything, dude. You're just going to come in and insult her friends?
Yeah.
Like, come on, you're apologizing here.
Hmm.
I love that, like, I love the line of the worst thing I ever did was what I did to you. Like,
Hmm.
when Taylor was talking about the song, she was saying how it's like a boy trying to figure out the right way to apologize for the first time and like really apologize. But give it time, James. You'll do much worse than this. Trust me. You're only 17. It
Oh
gets
God.
much worse from here.
Hmm.
Um, for some reason, the line "a figment of my worst intentions," like obviously figment of my worst imagination, but it's not. It's not even your imagination. It's you. You don't even intend to. You should have said no, James. Um, but it's just I didn't want to do it, but she appeared a figment of my worst intentions, and
Hmm.
I went with it.
Yeah.
The next line I will pop off about because oh it gets me so like deep. Like,
Okay.
Betty, right now is the last time I can dream about what happens when you see my face again. There is just something about the way that line is delivered. Not even the way, it's just everything about it. Everything. I can't get over it. Like, every time I hear it, but like, it's just, this guy is just like, this is it. Like, I'm standing on her door right now. This is the last time in my head right now, it can go really well. And we're back together and I'm happy. But once this door opens and I get my answer, I can't dream about it anymore. And I have
Hmm.
to live in right now. There are two realities and I can live in either one. But once this happens, I'm stuck to just one.
Yeah.
And love that idea. I absolutely love that idea. And it's just like, it reminds me of when we did our someone great review where you pointed out the line that someone said, we're like, live in this moment because the relationship isn't over until this part's over.
Yeah.
He's living in that moment right now. Like, the relationship to him doesn't have to be over right now. It's not over until she says, James, I'm not forgiving you. We're done.
Yep.
Uh, oh,
So
oh,
good.
I really
What a
love it.
song. And then we get into this next song, which is a freaking lyrical powerhouse. So I couldn't pick just three. I think I did, but I really wanted to do the whole song. But Peace. And I never realized how lyrically powerful it was until I actually sat down and tried to think of only three. But I never had the courage in my convictions as long as danger is near. Just, oh God.
It's very powerful.
And
So
then
powerful.
a line that also just the way I sing it every time, it just the delivery is so good. It's your integrity makes me feel small. You paint dreamscapes on the wall. It's just so good. And then the next line is I talk shit with my friends. It's like I'm wasting your honor. And I love that line. It's like, like, oh, like I feel like if I'm talking poorly about you to my friends, it's like I'm wasting your honor. It's like I can't go back after this.
Mm-hmm.
But,
And
oh.
it's like it's that thing of like, if you broke up with someone or
Mm-hmm.
something like that, and like they obviously don't like them because they broke up with you and they're your friends and they're trying to back you up, you can't like defend him. Then like you kind of have to like go along with it and talk shit about him even though you don't want to,
Mm-hmm.
and you're losing his honor because of it, but like you're kind of pressed into. Oh, I love the implications of that.
Yeah.
You told me, you were like, I'm only picking 3, but you better pick 3, the other 3 that I'm missing or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the exact same way. I'm like, I could pick every line in this song.
Yep.
But I'll start with just the titular line of, would it be enough if I could never give you peace?
Mm-hmm.
There's something about the raw tenderness of this line. It go, like you said, with the lover, like,
Mm-hmm.
can I go where you go? It's like a very much like, I want to be with you, but I know as long as I am, you won't be fully happy. I'll never give you peace of mind. But are you okay with that? And then like, it, to me, like, I just hear a, please be okay with that. Like, you're just dying to have this person in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all you want. Would I be enough if I never give you peace? Then another scream line for me is, but I would die for you in secret.
Mm-hmm.
One, it screams, please love me.
Yeah.
But like, just, I've gone off on it when we reacted to it, but like, I just can't get over the, like, just, I would die for you in secret. I don't care who knows.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, you are the most important thing to me. I don't need to show it to anyone. And I think I picked a little weird one here on my third one. This one was the one I was unsure of, but I had to, just for the cadence of it and this how satisfying it is to listen to. But if your Cascade Ocean Wave Blues come, like, it just hits so good. And like, I after I read it, I was like, oh, like, this has a lot more meanings than what I just thought. Like, I thought it was just painting a good picture, but like, she's really talking like if it would be enough if I never give you peace. My own mental problems and issues are big enough for me. But if your problems, your Cascade Ocean Wave Blues come, the cadence, delivery.
You picked the wrong lyric, so I'm gonna go off book here and add one more. So
Okay.
the
I knew it.
the whole bridge where just oh god, what is it? Give you the silence that only comes when two people understand each other. Family that it's just so good.
I was gonna pick that one.
Cadence,
that was on my list.
The implication of just the silence that only comes when two people understand each other. It's like, being comfortable in that silence.
We were just talking about that. We're like, we already had like moments where we're uncomfortable in silence. Like, and especially for people like us, getting to a point where you're comfortable with silence with another person and it doesn't give you anxiety, put a ring on it. Jeez, like, oh my gosh.
All right, and the last song on the album, Hoax. So just the chorus, stood on the cliffside screaming, give me a reason. The implications behind that, the way she delivers it, the way that even she says screaming, give me a reason, but the way she delivers it, it's just so soft and sweet and just empty.
It's a very downtrodden song. And that line, like, I get, like, a lot of this song we've been or a lot of this record and we've been talking about it for a while, is like, it feels like a movie. Like, you see that scene in a movie. You see the woman in a dress, and we could go into this in another theory down the line, but like coming home from a funeral, who's just like distraught about like losing someone and just going, that's it. Like, I'm just give me a reason. Just.
And then another line, you knew the hero died, so what's the movie for? It's like, you knew this was going to end. You knew it wasn't going to work out. The hero wasn't going to win. So what was it all for? And then my last line, my broken drum, you have beaten my heart. I think that just, it makes, it's like a good parallel, like a broken drum, you've beaten my heart. But I just think that the phrase, like, you've beaten my heart, it's just, you beat it. You killed it.
There's a lot of layers to that. There's so many layers, because like all those words work in tandem in so many different ways.
Broken drum. Yeah.
Broken drum, you beat a drum, your heart beats. You've beaten my heart, you've destroyed. Like, there's just so much in that like just all packs into like one line. Broken hearted. Like, all of those lines are like basically interchangeable. Like, it's literally like a jigsaw puzzle. You can move them in any space and it works. The line I'm shocked you didn't pick, because I remember you talking about it a lot when we were doing the initial reaction, was darling, this was just as hard as when they pulled me apart. Yo, if we didn't already have like a rough like allusion to suicide, this is such a gruesome visual.
Yeah.
of it was just as hard as when they pulled me apart.
And
Like,
honestly, they did. The media pulled her apart. They ripped her to
mhm,
shreds. Like, it is a very gruesome line, but just this whole album has very gruesome undertones to it, which
overtones,
we'll get into.
overtones and
Oh,
undertones.
which we'll get into in a whole separate episode about that. But
Mhm.
that is the album. That is Folklore. Those are the lyrics that stood out to us. We basically just recited the whole album to you, but
Yeah.
longer somehow.
Somehow still longer. Um, let us know what lines stuck out to you. If you
Mhm.
agree with us, if you disagree, if you think there are lines that are more like screamable than the ones that we pointed out. We definitely want to hear what your thoughts are on this album. We need to talk about it. It's more than just us.
Just the same two opinions, just bouncing back and forth. Yeah, but thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. Tell a friend about us. Rate us 5 stars.
Follow us on social media or YouTube. Leave a comment, DM. Let us know what you think. We're actually, like I said earlier at the top of the podcast, we're doing a weekly power ranking as our love of the songs ebb and flow. So be sure to check that out on Instagram. I might try to post that on Twitter too if I can figure that out.
Yeah.
But let us know how you'd rank these songs.
Yeah, and you can find us at We Need to Calm Down Podcast or at WNTCD Podcast on Twitter.
If you have a suggestion for an episode or content, let us know. If you think there's something cool that you want us to explore in folklore, we're happy to try to give it a shot.
We are on folklore mode though, so
We are
nothing else.
completely on fire. Don't give us anything about Speak Now. Nah, sorry.
All right, have a good one. Come back. We'll be here.
Third time's the charm. Let's do this.
Okay. It's like hot in this now. I don't like that.